Good afternoon, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. Welcome to the Deca Squad preparation night. Kate as well down there. This sort of thing isn't just done by one person, it's done by a big crew. So we've got Kate, Matt, Ash, obviously James, other James, Matt and Liam. There are a few other people as well that are going to be dipping in and out throughout different points, so this isn't the complete crew, but this is probably the core crew of people who've got specific jobs and things to do. So bit of a prep night. James, you talked us through what you want from us and what...
Very, very demanding.
Yeah, well, no, but you're rightfully so, and about what your plan is for the week and stuff. Are you feel happy now that you've laid out your expectations?
Yeah, and because I trust the people that are around me, I feel as though just regurgitating it once is enough.
Yeah. So James, Ash and Matt have all helped you at various previous triple, double, brutal,
They have, yeah.
So that experience is very handy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They'll know whether I'm looking okay or not.
Wicked. Okay, right. So after this clip now, I'll play a few snippets from our discussions tonight so you can get a feel for it, and then I'll just end the video there. So drop any questions down below. We're going to cover fundraising. I think when we get there, I want to hold out when we get there, but that's also going well as well.
Although we are doing all right so far.
Yeah. Okay. I'll leave some links in the description down below, but we'll talk about it more either the week before or the day before, something like that. Because
make sure they bring their credit card.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I figure if we get more emotion out of people when you're in it. Okay, see you later.
It'll be emotional.
A teaching assistant is gearing up for an epic challenge of 10 Ironman triathlons in as many days to raise money for charity. James Simpson from Pinxton in Derbyshire will start the Deca Ironman triathlon next month in York, and will be raising money to put on outdoor activities for young people in his hometown of Alfreton. And James joins me now. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Andy.
James, are you a bit bonkers?
Yes.
Are you bonkers?
If you ask the kids at school, they would definitely say that I was. But obviously, I haven't just jumped into this. So over the years, I've done one or two different iron distance events, and then I've done a double Ironman and a triple Ironman.
Glad to get that.
And so I suppose the next theological step was to have a go at something longer.
So we're up at 4:30, so you're ready for 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and at 5 o'clock, if I've ate that gives me enough time to get dressed and do ablutions before I get in the lake. Yeah. Now I know that breakfast isn't as much as I would want to eat, so on the way down to the lake I need full steam, because I think the setup is that I'm not going to be able to grab the full steam while swimming. So it's just give me something to sit when we know that we're going to go with warm water, don't we, down the suit from day one. I've got some, I'll prepare a swim bag and there'll be some empty flasks in there, and we know that works, don't we? I think when I get out of the lake, that's when I want to be eating a better breakfast involving like eggs or bacon or sausage. There is a cafe on site that would do a fried egg sandwich, a bacon sandwich, a sausage sandwich. And I'm not going to be fussy. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you give me, I'll eat. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe a bowl of cereal. I might have some cereal set up, because I presume I'm going to be going back to my camper van to put my cycling gear on. Or if not, then it'll be the gazebo. But I think it's probably going to be my camper van. Yeah. Full change. The only thing I might want then is maybe wash a bit of lake water off me before I get my cycling kit on. Because obviously every day for 10 days there's a lot of bacteria and germs.
Or at least your face.
Maybe antiseptic wipes, something like that. I was thinking maybe.
One of them sort of like the decathlon sort of like outdoor shower where,
I think that might be too much faff, and what'll happen is we'll start with good intentions and then we'll just won't be bothered to do it.
To simulate when you come out of a sea swim where you go through can you just literally walk through a shower and it just takes the excess of the...
What do you mean, like just a bucket and sponge?
We're going like sub 7 week kiloman, aren't we?
Yeah.
Get one of those.
I think a bucket and sponge is more our sort of style, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, because like I say, it's got to be, what I've learned is that in these things it's got to be usable, hasn't it? Because you end up not doing it. Do you know what I mean? Imagine that a stomach complaint is highly likely, particularly as my immune system gets suppressed. So I don't think we want to be cooking anything.
Even
and I think
everything, you're on the way out of the swim, you might want the best idea.
I think I'll get a few hand gels everywhere anyway for us and leave them lying about. And I think that's something that you guys are going to have to take on board. I'm going to have to just assume you're doing it. I think you're just going to have to make sure that you've got good hand hygiene, because I am going to be vulnerable, aren't I? So basically, the most important thing on the bike is keeping moving. So when I'm rolling past, this is the bit where you might have to come out the gazebo, particularly in the first few days when I'm not going to want to go back to the gazebo. It might be that as I roll round, you hand me a sandwich that I can eat on the bike. This is one of my concerns about a time trial bike. I don't know how practical a time trial bike's going to be over that number of days with that amount of eating, because when you're up with one hand, I don't know, and we'll just have to have a look at it, I think, and see what's working.
So during you start that day on a bike, can you swap the bike during the stage?
I've read the rules, and there aren't many.
Okay. Yeah.
So
it does make a difference. So obviously, if you get in, you know, you could say let's give it a go for the first few hours. If it's not working, then
I think we can swap bikes as much as we want. And I think that punctures and whatnot, I think you can come out and give me a hand. Maybe I have to change them myself. Is he still recording? You know what I mean? No, I think it's going to be in classic brutal fashion, so long as nobody's drafting you, so long as you are not cheating.
Yeah. But surely we can provide you with a wheel change and we can repair that puncture.
We're not sitting aside the road.
That's what I meant. There's nothing in the rules about that.
If James punctures, it's a phone call towards. He's not even looking at his bike. He's then sitting down, stretching, eating, drinking.
Yeah, that's what we said, isn't it? If you're punctured, you're better off using the time to rest.
I think
let us sort it.
I think just the mental thinking about it.
Exactly. Just find an edge bottom somewhere and go.
I think the priority on the bike is moving. The only time I want to stop, I've decided I was going to do this, then changed my mind, then decided, then changed my mind. But I've decided now. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think the thing is that you've got to have the calories. You know, the things that I've read are that I don't think I'm going to be able to actually eat enough calories to, and I'm not overweight anyway. So I think it needs to be gluttony for the first few days, and then probably forced eating for the next few days, and then maybe the last few days you can only do what you can do. I suspect I've got to be going to bed like I do on holiday, with the distended stomach.
Do you have to start thinking about crazy high calorie foods? Like any bodybuilders put olive oil and stuff.
I mean, I do. I think that is what we'll be eating, you know, with the protein powders and carb mix. And then, you know, if you're eating pre-packed Gary sandwiches all day and you're having a takeaway pizza at night and you're having a dinner with pudding and custard and every night you're having a bowl of fruit and yoghurt and you're having a handful of nuts on them, they are high calorie foods. I mean, during my training, I have not lost 1 gram. I'm 70 kilograms, so I am good at eating.
You've been trying,
you know, and that's like, you know, some weeks have been, you know, as little as like 8 and 9 hours training, and then other weeks have been 35 hours training, and I still haven't varied in weight. So I do think I'm quite a good eater, and I do think my body has a good gauge. I think the problem is going to be that I'm not going to actually be able to consume enough. That'll be the problem. So you know, I can't. I think the biggest danger is being poisoned by dirt and germs. I think that's the problem, rather than what I consume. If I don't like it, straight away I'll spit it out and have something else. I'll know. Do you know what I mean?
Are we having to record your calories, you know, for that study?
Yes.
Yeah.
As best we can.
I mean, the easiest way of doing it is just take a photograph.
As slow as you can.
What are we going to do with that information though? Because we're always going to be eating as much as you can.
Nothing during the time. This is all part of a study that's going to be done after the event. So the best information we can collect during, great. And Sam and one of his students are coming out during the event, so they'll do a bit of the collection stuff as well. But the guidance we have is just to record as much stuff as we can in terms of what he's having.
Yeah. So it's not going to alter anything. And I think that's the thing that I realised, is that there's nothing that they're going to tell me that's going to change anything, is it? I mean, you know, if he says
anything you do.
No, you know what I mean. What's he going to say? Have a two sandwich instead of a cheese sandwich. Well, if I want a cheese sandwich, I'm going to have one. Aren't I?
So the two studies that are sort of combined is one is the food and nutrition, one is the technology. So what is the Garmin saying that your body is doing? Obviously, on like day 2 or 3, it's going to say don't do anything today. You can't not do anything, but it's just interesting to look at afterwards.
And we're going to have a takeaway every night, So that's basically, that's how I envision every day going.
Just to go back to the day plan, you talk about slipping off times.
Yes.
You said what you kind of planning to swim in. What's
so I can't imagine so I'm talking about overall time, so not just moving time here. I can't imagine the bike being much quicker than 7.5 hours at the quickest with stop time, and it could go anywhere to anything, couldn't it? But I'm imagining about 10 hours is probably toward the top end, I would have thought.
Yes.
But obviously you might be travelling at 8 mile an hour one, who knows?
I think you'll surprise yourself how fast you are, but you best go in with that mentality.
Yeah, I think 10 hours is a sort of, that's a longer day isn't it, on the bike. I trained up to like that.
There is that mentality that the slower you go, the longer it is. So the sweet spot of going easy enough to be sort of like sustainable, but not so long that it's going to be out here.
I mean, I'm quite comfortable with 60% at effort for 80% at speed. It's my natural disposition anyway. That's why I'm always getting dropped off back of every group that I'm ever in, regardless of the speed the group's going. I could go a bit slower and then it blows easier. So I'm quite comfortable with that. And then the run.
No, I'm fine.
I don't think you know, overall time.
Can I get some water first?
Overall time, I don't want to be travelling that 26 mile any quicker than 5.5 hours, really, including stopping time.
Yeah.
So that'd be a breakneck speed one, but it might be, you know, that we're looking at sort of anything, isn't it? Yeah. I've got 23 hours 45 minutes. Yeah, that's the cut-off. 15 minutes before the start of the next one.
I want to be back 10 o'clock.
But I think I'll start to get a bit upset if I'm seeing midnight.
Yeah.
But they are really only educated guesses.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the only race I've done where the training hasn't really dictated whether I can do it or not. Almost every other race, barring injury, the training's told me that I can do it. Nothing I've done in training has told me I can do this. So, I don't know. But I know that I've got to be slow enough to feel comfortable at all times, you know, for the first few days. I won't feel comfortable after that. But I know that I can't be dawdling.
Yeah.
You know, I can't be getting off the bike. I can't be, you know.
So we need sort of like a degree of certainty so we can know whether to push you or whether to ease off, and you know, actually we don't want to be slipping.
I don't think there's ever a reason why you need to really ease off on me, to be honest.
Not be easing off on
well, I think it's because actually I don't think after, like, if you were saying go faster on the first day, I will listen to you. If you're saying go faster on the second and third day, that might be a problem, but I know you're not going to. And then after that, it don't really matter what you say, does it? I think it's just about encouraging me and bullying me. You know, you can't get off the bike.
You don't stop anyway, though.
I don't know.
Really, for anything.
No.
In fact, if you do start stopping, I'll take that as a sign that something is probably quite wrong.
Yeah,
Because
obviously,
up to now,
Matt and Ash and Liam and James have seen me. I'm quite efficient, aren't I?
Yeah,
once I get going, I want to only be taking naps in the day if they're truly at the fan. Because what I've read in various accounts of people doing it is the people that mistime things and go a bit slower to begin with and start running out of time at night, and so then they're taking naps in day, that ends with the DNF.
Okay.
So it's literally that. If that has to happen, it's because it really has to happen.
Yeah.
Not to save me time later, because it doesn't, from what I've read. 5, and when you're not thinking straight and I'm really tired, that's why I don't want Kate to be like, you know, a crew chief or whatever, because I tend to worry whether Kate's alright, and that affects how I perform, because I'm thinking, oh, is she slept enough, or does she need something to eat, or is she cross because I'm doing another Ironman again? Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not saying you are. It's just it's in here. It's not out there. But that's important to you. What I don't want is that to bother me. So I think if Kate is there because she's my wife and I can't wait to see her, and she's fetching and carrying for you, but I don't want her to be responsible for making me go out when my feet fell off or whatever. Because I'll not be able to think straight about it. So I'd rather just get that out there now, so you all know. To any race organisers or doctors or anything, nobody else, including Kate, can speak on my behalf. Only Ash, only Matt. I think what he said in TikTok 10, you know about those questions where it's red or green? I think that's a really good idea. So he basically come up with this system where somebody said, do you want to go on? And if he said no or red, that meant he didn't want to go on. And what they'd do is they might help him tie his shoelace, and then they'd say it in another way. Are you ready to go out there again? And if I say no or red 3 times on the row, that probably means that they ought to take a closer look at me. If I say it twice and then say green and get up, leave me be. Yeah. But I mean, I would actually prefer, if I said red 3 times, I think you really ought to be pushing me out the door.
I would still, yeah.
Even if I had aspirations on winning it, the winning isn't decided until day 2 and 3, and if until day 9 and 10. And if somebody is 3 hours, 10 hours ahead by then, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's really about staying in the game, innit? That's where our success comes from. And like, you know, if we finish this, it's like right up there with as good a performance as you can get in it, because it's rock hard for a crew to keep an athlete going for 10 days. That's where we need to be at, I think. So we don't need to be worried about who's where. I mean, you know, it's a bit like when we did the triple brutal. It was all completely irrelevant, wasn't it, unless it was motivating me.
Right.
And but you know when it'll motivate.
That's what it is. It's about picking the point when it'll push you that little bit.
Yeah.
When you're about to.
And I can't see that being anywhere near.
No. See, I've got an image of Dan like at the crit races. Every lap you go by, 3 hours and 40 minutes to the guy ahead. 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Hold the wheel.
On the triple route.
Yeah. I think I feel pretty confident in the fact I'll just be able to sit there all day, wait till you come in and give some and kick you out again.
I think there'll be a lot of nothing on the bike. I think for a few hours we'll have not much to do. The swim and the run seems like it's more intense and more often we're seeing you. I think
it's like that morning. If you get me up and get me off, and then get me off on the bike, that's where the work is. And then at the business end of the run in the later days where I'm hanging. That's where the work is. I think everything else is just hand me a sandwich, tell me I look great.
Whoever's doing the spannering on your bike, we need to do that as soon as you come in, really.
Yeah.
So it's always in daylight, see what's going on with it, and it gives you time to sort it out.
Realistically, it should be you or Matt. So
well, so a trust thing, I know Matt bag short.
So and the thing is, it'd be better if one